Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Friday the 13th on the GeForce GTX 1060 6GB for FPS monitoring. This time I won't be using cam due to Easy Anti-Cheat, which is the anti-cheat software this game uses, so I'll be using MSI Afterburner instead. And if you want to purchase any of the parts featured in this build and support the channel, there are Amazon affiliate links down in the description too. So Friday the 13th, I'll be doing 1080p and 1440p. To skip none of those sections of the video, check the description below. First I'll show you the G4560 at 1080p, trying to get 60 frames per second, which is pretty much the maximum settings, with shadows lowered from epic to high in order to get 60 frames per second. And it was possible, but sometimes in some random moments the G4560 might see some drops below 60 frames per second. I saw it on many different cards, and it seems to be linked to what's going on in the game. Maybe there are many survivors doing stuff at the same time while Jason is chasing them. Sometimes that can happen, but it's very rare. So with the G4560 you might see that limitation every now and then. So it shouldn't be that bad, you won't really notice it since it's very rare and it's very sudden, but it's worth mentioning. Then I'll show you 1080p using the i5 7400 using the same settings with the G4560, and finally at 1440p I show you first a 60 frames per second configuration, and then I crank up the settings to epic, which is the maximum settings, and I'll stay over 30 frames per second, and I didn't even need to overclock the GTX 1060, so keep that in mind. Please note that to get to 1440p I had to use the resolution scaling slider, so I selected 134%, which means that on each axis of 1080p 1920 by 1080 I use 134% of each value. So 134% of 1080 is around 1440, and 134% of 1920 is around 2560. I would have to actually select 133.33333%, but that value is unavailable, so I just use 134%. It's less than 1% difference, so keep that in mind. So this game was made using Unreal Engine 4, so I was expecting it to be quite demanding on the GPU. What was very interesting was that in the system requirements the recommended GPU was a GTX 750 Ti, so I'm not sure what the recommended settings mean. There is even an i3 listed in the recommended requirements, so that's kind of nonsense for this game actually, because I tried it with a 1050 Ti and I couldn't max it out on 1080p without drops below 30 frames per second on some places. So I don't know what they were thinking when they made the system requirements. And in the options menu we have usually the same settings that you can find on an Unreal Engine 4 game. We have a resolution scale slider, which is good to see for both super sampling and upscaling. Then we have anti-aliasing, which is not listed which solution it is. Effects, foliage, post-processing, shadows, textures, and view distance. So far, to get a good FPS boost I had to lower most of the settings, but the first ones that I saw the biggest difference in performance were shadows, post-processing, and effects. Those were the ones that I saw more of a performance impact when they were on epic or high, so I suggest lowering those first. And then foliage and view distance have a lower impact in performance, but they still have an impact, so I recommend lowering them in groups, especially effects, shadows, and post-processing. For textures, if you have a 4GB video card, you can play it on Epic without an issue. It was using over 2GB of VRAM with textures on Epic, so I will try high or medium if you have a 2GB video card. But yeah, so far indoors the game runs pretty good when you're just looking for items inside a building. The problem is when you go outside and you have a lot of trees, a lot of foliage, maybe some water here and there. But so far just looking into the distance into those open areas is enough to have a noticeable drop in performance. And in the options menu I had some issues with the resolution. If I chose full screen the game will just force 720p, but it didn't say 720p in the menu. And if I selected full screen windowed and I selected any resolution I wanted, it will force 1080p. So there's something weird going on with the options menu. That's why on 900p and 720p I'm playing on windowed mode, so I can actually use 900p and 720p. So I'm sorry about that, but the game is just weird with the resolutions. That's why on my videos you won't usually see 1440p and 4K on this game. I found it quite difficult to use DSR since the game is not really going over 1080p for some reason. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you keep enjoying the video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Anyone out there? You have to come to Camp Crystal Lake! Bring a gun! Oh God, he's killing us. No, 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 no. All set. Time to get out of here.
No, stop!